Hi there, it's Ruth at Artful Stampin', and I'm going to be making a Christmas card. I thought, well, I better get on and do them. So I'm using this card that I've made here as a little bit of inspiration and a template, and it's kind of to show you how if you hit on a design that you like the look of and you like the composition of it, then do keep it in mind for when you need to create another card, because it takes kind of the thinking time out of having to create a new design. So if I just break this down sort of into simple steps for you, this is obviously on a dark background and I've stamped with the white craft ink. However, for the new card I'm going to be doing, it's going to be a different colour. But let's look at the other elements. We've got a ribbon running through the centre, not centre, but the the lowest portion of the card, and then we've got a nice big bow there. Then here I've pinned, okay, this is just using an inexpensive pearl pin there. I've pinned a flower design there, and it's got some leaves sticking out, and then it's got the sentiment there. So I've kept all the kind of detailed elements to the bottom of the card, and then just done some pretty stamping around the edge of it. Okay, so that's the kind of basic look we're going to go for. I've had a play around with it, so I'll show you what I've made, and then the next one I make might be a little bit different. So here we go. Here's the ribbon through the near to the middle. A bit of a design at the bottom this time, rather than all the way round. But again, that floral kind of focal point, using slightly different combination of colours. I've gone for reds and browns and greens with this one, but I've cut this out of glimmer paper, and then the leaves out of the green, and instead of putting the sentiment there, I've put it up there. Right, now, so I've got all those basic elements again, and for the leaf and the flower, I've used the Flourish Thinlets dies, which I absolutely love. I totally do not regret buying them at all. They are absolutely beautiful to work with. Also, I'm using the Stitched Shapes Framelets dies. Now, a word on this. These were so popular amongst demonstrators that Stampin' Up have sold out of these. They will be returning to stock around January time, okay? So if you get some Christmas pennies, hold on to them, because it is so worth buying this die set. So I've already pre-cut my sentiment, and it's stamped from the Wonder of Christmas stamp set, and I've also got some little leaves and bits and bobs here. Now these cards are actually a commission. I've been commissioned to make 4 Christmas cards for a friend of mine, and on them they're going to have the names of the teachers that they're going to. While I'm here, I also wanted to go over tying ribbon, because a lot of ladies who come to my classes are ribbon phobic, and they end up making me do it. So I thought I'll do a quick tutorial on tying a bow. Okay, I know that might seem simple as everyone ties their shoelaces, but I think when it comes to ribbon, because of the width of it, people get a little bit panicky. Right, so I'm starting off here with the cut side of the ribbon to the right hand side, and then the bit that's still attached to the spool on the left. So I take my ribbon over, and I'm leaving a fairly good amount for me to tie a bow. So I take the right hand side over the left and go under and pull that tight, and I then use my index finger just to pop it on there to keep it from moving around too much, and then I loop up the bit of ribbon that's come down on the left there. So loop that up with my thumb and then hold it into place there. Then I put the ribbon that's still attached to the spool, pop that round the loop and then under. I'm still kind of like holding my finger down there to make sure it doesn't move around too much, and then pull that into place. Now at this point the ribbon doesn't look very pretty. That doesn't matter, because once you've actually sort of tied it, you can then play around with it and move it to where you want it to go. So I would like to have it a little bit to the side of my card, and then you can also play with the bow, the loops here, to make them a little bit more fuller. Now some people like to have their sort of ties hanging downwards. I sometimes like to have one up and one down, depending on the kind of look that I'm going for. Either way, we still need to snip this off, so I'm going to snip that off there. And this one I'm actually going to snip this way. Now, because my bow is going to be hidden underneath a flower, I'm not too worried if I'm not 100% happy with it, because it's going to get kind of covered up anyway, and I'm going to stick down these extra bits to exactly where I want them to be. So don't panic if they're not kind of doing what you want them to do, because with a little bit of tinkering and pulling and re-tinkering, you can kind of get it where you want it to be. Now, this bow seems to be wanting to sort of sit like that, so I think I might just leave it and not fight it. And I've just realised I've actually cut this one in the wrong direction, so just give that a little wee more bit of a snip. There we go. Oh, try not to catch the rest of that bow there. Right, so I'm going to actually stick my flower on there, and when I say stick, I don't mean stick, I mean pin. So I've got these really inexpensive pearl pins that you can purchase off the internet. Stampin' Up don't sell these. And what I'm going to do is just pin that flower to my bow. Now, obviously, if you were giving this card to a child, I would suggest you don't use the pin, use something else to hold it down with. That element's going to go there, so I'm going to get on and just stamp the bottom. Oh dear, it's collapsing around me. I'm going to stamp the bottom there. Now, this lace stamp is a new one that's going to be available during Celebration. And Celebration is happening from, I believe it's the 3rd of January. If I could be wrong, it could be the 4th. But the beginning of January. And basically, any time you place an order of over £45, you can earn this beautiful lace stamp set. It's called Delicate Details, and when I saw it in the catalogue, it was like, it completely jumped out at me. I had to have it. It's just so beautiful. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of lace detail now to the bottom of my card here. Do you know what, I might even put some at the top, because I want to make all these cards look a little bit different. They're not all going to be exactly the same. So, and the great thing is, because it's photopolymer, you can kind of see where you're stamping, so it makes it a bit easier. There we go. And then I've got my little sentiment there, and then I've got this little stamp set here, also from the Wonder of Christmas stamp set, and I've used crumb cake as a card base. And I've cut this out. This is in Sahara Sand because I wanted a lighter effect. And I just want a little bit of a background stamped here, just to break up all that plain kind of brown. There we go. Just looks like there's stars coming away from that bow now. And then all that leaves me to do is to kind of stick it all together. So I've got a few dimensionals here that just need using up, so remember, don't waste. Use these little pieces up and pop that onto there, that onto there. And I'm going to show you something that I do with these leaves. When you first cut them out, there's 5 leaves to this branch, as it were. I'll just show you how it usually cuts out. So it usually cuts out, and it's a piece like that. If it doesn't work for you like that, because if I was to stick that behind there now, that would be kind of the wrong dimensions. That leaf is sticking far too much up there, and it's kind of taking your eye away really from the sentiment. I really want this tucked in right behind the flower. So don't be afraid of cutting your die cuts down. Just cut them down to where you want them to be. Now, if I was to stick this leaf now behind here, it almost looks like, because that way up it looks like a shoot, like a sprouting shoot, which is not the look I want. And if I stick that under there, it still doesn't look right. So don't be afraid to really cut down then the leaves, and if you want to cut it completely off the stem, that's fine too, because I want these leaves tucked right in behind the flowers. I think I might have talked about this when I do stamping, stamping flowers with leaves, that they look so much better when the leaves are tucked right behind the, behind the flower. There we go. I mean, even this one, I could even cut that off and have a play with it, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to get on and stick these all down for you now. Right, where are my glue dots? Love my glue dots. These are fabulous because they get into tiny, tight spaces. I'm just going to pop a glue dot on the back of my leaf there. And I actually want some of these leaves to sort of sit away from the card, so I'm giving them a little bit of a bend. And because I know these are going to be hand given, then these are not going to be sent in the post. It doesn't matter that they're a little bit 3D. So I'm just going to stick this little leaf down under here, making sure I don't prick myself on that pin there. Take that one under there. Actually, I think I want that one a little bit further in there. There we go. I like to have a little play with the flowers, make them stick up a little bit more. Right, so that's another one finished, and then all it leaves me to do then is to personalise this. I've already cut out one of the names of the teachers, and I can pop that into there if I want to for the name of the teacher to personalise it. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed this little Christmas card, and I hope that your Christmas season is shaping up nicely, and you're getting all your preparations done. Right, take care for now, and head over to artfulstamping.co.uk to see more inspiration and to shop for any of these products that are current. Okay, bye now.